everyone, and welcome to Werven's World. Today I would like to talk about how to create your own faction by making your own portraits and foreground and stuff like that. So if you make a new game, you can say create custom race. And with that, you can adjust a lot of things like how things work in the game, like if your people are clever or farmers, and if they're ancient or engineers, and all that kind of stuff. You can change that, but you can also put in your own artwork. And that will be the topic of today on how to do that. So as you can see here, you can customize the foreground as well as the background with either video, like this guy here is blinking his eyes and breathing a bit. That's a video, or with a picture. I personally don't know how to animate things at all, so I won't do the video. So I'll be doing pictures where you can add basically. So these are in the game themselves already. So you can just change the guy. Now this one is not animated. And you can also change the background as well as the portrait. And at some point you can also change your logo. So today we will be making a new foreground and a new portrait. So to do that, I'm actually using GIMP, which is a free-to-use program. And it's open source, and it's kind of a good alternative to Photoshop if you don't want to pay for Photoshop. So this is a picture of a termite I took in Africa recently, so I thought maybe just make a termite race. I'm terrible at drawing, so I thought I would just do a little bit of photo manipulation. So what you basically do is you make a new file, and the size of the new file has to be 1920 by 1080. Then basically, well, you create something in there. As you can see here, I've got my my termite in here, and I scaled it a little bit to be better. However, now it has a white background, and that's a problem with most pictures. There's always a background, and you don't want the entire picture to be white. You just want to have the cutout, right? So to do that, I'll just do very quickly. I always take this wand here, and basically I want to have the termite selected. So I'll change the threshold a bit to allow for more color variation. And then if you hold shift while having the wand, you see this little plus, so you actually select, you add things to the selection. So here the mandibles, the antenna. This is actually not such a great. There, this is better. Maybe a bit more. Almost. Just play around with the threshold. So now I've got the shadow in there, and I don't want that. There, this looks very good. Sorry. So with shift you can add things, so you can change the threshold, and then with shift you can add something into it. There we go. It's not going to be perfect at all, but just to kind of show what you can do. Yeah, that's about fine. So I kind of want to see the termite. Oh, actually here's some white things that should not be transparent either. There we go. That's fine. So basically I want everything else to be transparent, but not the termite. And the nice thing is I'm not going to delete it, because that would get rid of the shadow, and I kind of like the shadow. So what I will do is basically invert the selection, select invert, and then I've got everything selected but the termite, right? And then you go to colors, color to alpha, and then you change the alpha values of, in this case, white, so to make it transparent. So now everything is transparent except for the things that I hadn't selected. So now I see a mistake. I also want this thing to be transparent, so I'll do that. Colors, color to alpha. There we go. And I'll actually get rid of this part here because it's not pretty. Not that the entire thing will be very pretty, but anyway. So now what we have is a nice picture of of a termite with a bit of a transparent shadow. So we will export that, and then you do export as, and it needs to go to your documents, My Games, Galciv3, Factions, Leader FG, so Leader Foregrounds needs to go in there. So I export as a PNG because that kind of saves my transparency options, and then I press export, and again, and it will make the termite. So afterwards, you also want to have a logo. So for that, you will have to make a new file that's 128 by 128. So I pasted the termite in here and I scaled it through layers, scale layer. So now I don't want the background to be transparent, but just something stupid. I'm going to make it very ugly, I guess. So let's see what we have. Something like this. That would be a bit too much, wouldn't it? Something lightning, that's a bit much. So here we actually also see the best thing, of course, to do is with layers, so that you have this termite as a layer and you can color the entire background layer, which I now won't do because it costs too much time. So here, flying termites in the cloud. So I'll just fill up here these little white spots, and it's not going to be very pretty, as you can see here. Also, these lines here. So normally, what I would do is to put the termite as a layer and then kind of make the edges nice, and then put the background as the clouds here. But just to illustrate, we can actually draw something on it. Let's make it have eyes here. There. So we can export that. And that goes to documents, My Games, Galciv3 Factions Portraits. And then you save that. And I found out you have to give it another name. So if I also call it termite.png, something goes wrong in the game. So it needs to have a different name from the foreground file somehow, even though it's in a different folder. It works a bit weird. I might also draw these eyes on this termite. Oh. Get a little bit a bigger brush size. That's a bit too much. There, very scary termite. So I'll just overwrite that. There we go. So I'll restart Galactic Civilizations because you have to. There, so now I restarted the game, and I can press New Game. You create custom race, and now you can change these. So you can put on picture. There, my termite. Beautiful. So of course it could have been way better if I would have done something more with the shadow and really look at the lines and all that kind of stuff. But now just to illustrate. Of course you could have done a customized background as well. However, I kind of like these spacey backgrounds that the game provides. Let's do something like this. There we go. And now we just need to edit the portrait. And that's also there. So yeah, now you can change everything from the leader name, simple description, who is your race. So you can call them, these are the Isopterans, which is the Latin for termites. You can edit the logo as well. You can make your own, which also has to be 128 by 128, and you need to put it in the logos folder, which I didn't do now, but I guess there's something nice for termites, whatever. And you can change all these things. You can look into it, how to really fine tune your race, how you want it to be. You can change how the ships look. So basically the style of the ships, and then set some personality for when the AI plays it. But that's not the meaning of this tutorial. I just wanted to show you how to create your own art assets and import them into the game. So now that we have our nice termite race, I hope you find it useful, and see you next time.